Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, June 15th. I will call to order and approval of the agenda.
We should probably update the time on the agenda.
Oh, we have noon. Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Midnight.
No, that's midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Sorry, I went upstairs.
That's okay. I noticed that as I was getting ready for the meeting, I was like, wait, let me double check what time it is. And then I'm like, oh, well.
I think what happens is on that
It's
form,
probably
it
blank,
automatically
yeah.
resets and you
Mhm.
have to enter it, you know.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, and it,
Good catch.
okay.
Oh, I saw that. I figured, well, that's
That means we're all early
Mm.
or late.
I think we're late,
We're late.
technically,
if it would've
yeah.
been- oh. I'd like to ask for an approval of the agenda with the amendment to change the time to 6:30 PM.
So move.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Who? Brett?
Sure.
Joe? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We could have all opposed and then we wouldn't need a meeting, right? Oh,
We just have to have another one now.
yes.
That's better.
For the consent agenda, well, we approved the agenda, now we do the consent agenda, which is the library expenditures for May of 2021. May I have a motion?
And then the minutes.
Oh, yeah, and the minutes. I think I
I'll
printed out.
motion.
Were the minutes on the new one?
Yeah, they were in this one.
Okay,
And I noticed on the heading, it says regular meeting May 18th, so that's, should have said minutes for May 18th.
Ah.
But it says regular meeting.
I gotta check this out. No, see, I'm looking at the same
You're
one she
looking at
did.
the old
No, I printed the new one.
I
thought
also printed the new one.
And it didn't show minutes, but yours, maybe I didn't. Okay, anyways, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the consent agenda for the minutes of May and the library expenditures of May.
Motion.
Second? Motion, second. All in discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial reports. Joseph?
Yeah, so the first page is nothing exciting. We still have that $205.99 sitting in the building fund that hasn't been spent for the basement yet, so I don't know if that's ever going to get spent at this point, or if they're pretty much done with everything in the basement, so that's just gonna sit outstanding.
I can say that we haven't closed out all the accounts yet. There's still
Okay.
some things that may come through, so it's good to sit on it for a little bit.
All right, sounds good. There was no activity in the patrons park account, that's just sitting there. Nothing's been taken out or put in again. For the summer, for the non-restricted account, we had quite a bit of money put into the account over the past month. I did write some checks, but that was like a few days ago, and it's technically the next month, so I didn't include it in the report.
So what was the money that was put in? Was it put in showing it on this one or is
Yeah,
it?
the money's
in-
all,
Okay.
most of the money in is on this one. I think I just got the new check, that's not in there
Okay,
yet.
so what was the money that came in?
The
donations?
book sale fund,
Oh, okay, okay, you did
and then
put
there were
that in.
3 donations, and then interest income.
Okay, so the 3 donations would be for the summer reading.
Yeah.
Oh, you had it listed?
Yep.
Just tell me you had it listed. Okay. And you send out thank yous for those then?
Yep,
Okay, okay, good.
still on my to-do list, but I will.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying we do it with this sometimes. Okay, are there any questions for Joseph regarding the fund balances? If not, we will move on to number 5, public comments.
I was gonna have my wife call in, just make a comment, you know,
Comments,
but
we have one?
it's like, gotta find somebody. They're looking at me funny at the council meeting when I say, yeah, it's like,
Well, we lead such an exciting life in the library that everybody is commenting on it.
We gotta create some controversy.
No. No. That's
I didn't see that.
Or we could, have Tom come in.
Yes, he's,
Okay, library director's report.
Well, I'll just add, this week on the radio, we'll have Mike Christian with me talking about the Hometown Foundation and our new collection that they are providing. And I already have teed up Terica to come with me the following week, so long as it's okay with Rick. And she'll be talking about the summer reading program, the importance of that. And I believe I have Nancy after that, so we'll get a couple of other personalities on the radio with us. So that'll be kind of fun.
Sounds good.
I did beat the city administrator at chess today. I'll also mention that, to put it on record.
Okay. And, of course, there's some ramifications on that. That means since you won, we'll be getting so much more money. So Brett, you'll have to keep.
no, I think it'll gonna work the other way. It's like, I think there'll be some retribution.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Steve, you should have just took one for the team. Come
I
on.
couldn't do that. I told him right off the bat. I said I play to win.
My guess is there'll be a rematch in the future.
There
So-
will be.
Were you outside?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I found the chess pieces, and we the first use of that table for chess, I think.
So, yeah, I've seen some in the summers pre-COVID where people
Okay.
were using that, but it might be a good thing that we talk it up and maybe start, like you said, a chess,
Yeah.
Checkers.
Chess
Checker-
clubs,
chess-
checkers.
Checkers.
Checkers is fine too.
Yeah.
Do a Saturday morning with the mayor and the city administrator out there playing chess.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get a sunshade.
sunshade,
'Cause-
yeah. That was the second phase of the park, but that just
Yeah.
didn't take place,
And
so.
next time you play, we'll have to get some pictures and social media and
Yeah.
Document it.
promote it.
Put it on the newspaper and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
would be kind of fun. Okay,
And then all the other stuff I'm not gonna comment on, but there's a lot of good stuff happening in the library.
yes. Any questions for Steve regarding,
I believe the homegrown thing came today or yesterday? That
Yep.
should be installed now?
We have it, it's still behind the counter because we're gonna do
Oh,
some
sure, you gotta get them all.
cataloging of the CDs, which should be starting tomorrow morning. That's the first project that
Right.
Tech Service is gonna be working on that. And we should be able to circulate them by the end of the week.
and I would think since it's being promoted on the radio tomorrow with Mike and you, there'll probably be some interest starting rather quickly.
Yep.
Good, we can try to promote it on Thursday nights too, just letting people know if you like the music here, check it out at the local library.
That'd be good.
Alright. I'm MC this week, so I can make that.
Got canceled last week.
Canceled 2 weeks ago, last
Oh,
week was
2 weeks.
actually our first
2 weeks,
one.
okay,
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, we won't talk
Go
about that.
ahead.
Yeah.
Anything else for Steve? Otherwise, we'll move on to the library board president's report and nothing to report to the board for this month. So we'll move on to number 8, which was the trustee education portion that we've been doing in our Library 101. And Steve had put in to review the trustee essentials for developing policies because he will be addressing policies a little later on. So I thought that was really a pertinent
Yeah.
time.
I'll try to include one of these each time we meet so that you have something, not that you don't have to read the whole manual all at once, but, and I don't want to do more than one at a time.
No.
In case there's any discussion or questions that you might have.
Next month, we actually will be talking possibly the start of budgets. So maybe next month, instead of the trustees, we'll just cover the city, the county, and like outreach funding and stuff like that as an overview and stuff. Trying to make it pertinent to what our discussion is for the meeting.
Yeah, the first draft of the budget goes to the city in July, I believe, for approval in August, I think. And then we'll have to make some modifications as we go probably, so.
Is it August? I think it's, the board, the common council approves it in October, don't they usually?
Well, yeah, that's
The full-
after various
After all the other
phases of
approvals.
negotiation
Yeah.
and that. So there's a whole series of timelines
Yeah.
for beginning and discussion and voting and things like that, so,
Okay,
yeah.
fun time.
Yes. best time of the year is when you get your budget for the next year.
Did everybody get a chance to look? Yeah, did everybody get a chance to just kind of peruse the trustee essentials, and are there any questions? Pretty straightforward. It's a government document. Okay, new business. We will be moving into closed session. The board may entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to state statute section 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governing body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibilities. We will be looking at Library Associate 2, Library Reorganization Plan, and Interim Director Compensation. May I have a motion to go into closed session?
And then
Yes.
I'll, yeah, and then I'll second.
Okay. And I think
We need a roll.
you have to do a roll call.
Yes.
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 All right.
Okay. Okay, we return to open session at 7:36. We will be talking the Library Associate 2 position. We need a motion to approve the description as written.
I move to approve the Library 2 position as described in the board packet.
We need a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reorganization plan. We need a motion to go forward with the reorganization plan, phase 1, starting January 1st of 2022. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the reorganization plan phase 1 with the implementation date of January 1, 22.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And item number 9E, interim director compensation. We will be tabling this issue until next month, when we would have time to get some information from the city.
I'll make a motion to postpone the item until next month.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, number 9, new business F, beverage policy.
Policies are pretty simple, and I did talk about them in my report, but a lot of them are redundant in the patron rules of conduct. The one thing I noted here, that we may want to talk about when we get to patron rules of conduct, is we do have a no food in the library policy right now. That's kind of an unusual thing in libraries, because some people's got to eat, but I won't say anything more about that. But eliminating beverage policy, unattended child policy, which is already in the rules of conduct, RA and DVD video policy. This one's not in the rules of conduct, but we don't have a way to police this, so this is recommended to eliminate the policy, because if we're saying that we do restrict and we can't police it properly, then we have a policy that we can't enforce, and that's not a good policy.
Do we still bring it to the attention when a kid brings it up? It's not in the policy, so my 8-year-old kid brings up a rated R DVD.
We can bring that up to the patron who's checking it out.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the cell phone use policy also is covered by patron rules of conduct, meaning in the sense that you're not meant to disturb others. And
So there's a redundancy in policies, in individual policies, and rules of conduct, and what we would like to do is eliminate the redundancy by eliminating the policies, because they are addressed in the rules of conduct.
Correct. And if you would like to add anything to the rules of conduct, we do restrict food right now. I would recommend adding that food and beverages allowed. Again, it falls under the rule of, if it's disturbing others, if you bring in greasy food and fling it all over the place, you're not following the rules of conduct.
I remember when the food policy came in, you might remember. That was when we got the new furniture, and
I
we were
remember that.
fearful, yes, that we would have people eating Kentucky Fried Chicken or something and getting this on
The
the
new furniture,
new furniture.
yes.
So if, since we don't have that on there, we won't talk about the food, but you can bring that up on another
We can
meeting
do
if
that
you'd like to
meeting.
do that.
So can I ask a question, because we've got the patron rules of conduct on there, right? So that is an action item on our agenda this
Yeah.
evening, so we can theoretically talk about that and changes to that. So
Okay.
I think more of it is when we get to J than it is to, because there are some things such as it references following cell phone policy in the rules of conduct.
Right.
So we have some adjustments there. So I would move to delete board policies around, or library policies around beverages, unattended children, rated R DVD, videos, and the cell phone policy.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Tim. Okay,
So now we would remove references, of course, to the policy, separate policies that are already covered in the rules of policy. And then any other changes that you want to make in the patron rules of conduct. And that is why I put it there, so that we could discuss those changes.
So Steve, two things I think. One is calling out the use of cell phones. We go from the negative of, following this policy, blah, 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 describing what is acceptable use.
Okay?
I would like to see in there, in terms of that, you can use your cell phone for, it's different. A guy just send a text to my kid here to deal with something real quick, but like that idea is different than me standing and walking circles in the library and having a conversation with Steve on the other end of the phone disrupting 25 patrons, right? Or playing loud music or whatever, like some guides around what is acceptable for our kids and our adults who visit the library. So I think that would be the one ask I would like to see wrote into this and brought back. The other piece around the food is I find it interesting. It talks about no food is allowed in the library except scheduled events. Only drinks with lids are permitted. No food's allowed near. I think changing that language allows us for some potential opportunities for things to happen in our library and the culture and feel of libraries as they change and revolve. We just redid our entire high school library up by us. There are aspects in certain portions of our library where we allow kids who have lunch and they eat up there, or they have their snack or whatever. If I'm here for 4 hours studying at night for a college class, or I'm here, the ability to work in a room like this with all of you for 4 hours and have a snack and have something to drink is probably really important, and an atmosphere I believe we should bring about in our library. You deal with the instances of spilled drinks, food, whatever, and you deal with that. That's my belief of the two that I would like to see.
Sure.
I would totally agree. I think, having the ability to have a snack or have something while you were meeting or researching or whatever, would probably change a lot of people's opinions of whether or not they're gonna come here. Or maybe, now they'll just come take the book and go home because they can't. Where maybe, if we allowed it, they would utilize the building more than just the content.
And restricted to areas where they're not buying a computer. Definitely for sure, no food allowed when you're there.
Right.
There.
Sure.
Just be specific, because you say, now we can bring food in, well, now I'm gonna sit upstairs and do this and have my cousin sub or something. I
Yeah.
don't think that's appropriate.
As Brad and I talked about, food by the computer is a bad idea for everybody because
Yes.
those aren't sanitized between use. So.
But that could be the restriction instead of the
Spell
whole
it out for
Yeah.
someone.
building.
If you ever have, if you ever have a place where you have somebody who comes in and a guest coffee place or guest snacks or whatever, and other libraries have those types of, things available to their patrons, this opens that door up for things to happen that one-off right away without having to come back to the board and say, we'd like to change our food policy, and not always making it a special event.
Right, bagel and book club or.
Yeah, or the local businesses, reaches out and says, every Tuesday we'd like to have this thing available at the library, and we're gonna send somebody here, and whatever, food truck, right? I love food trucks, right? Like, I'm a big fan of eating a lot of food, that's my thing, so. But yeah, that idea of you could bring it in, it becomes a regular thing, maybe even the library gets a donation or a percentage of that profit, however that works out. This opens up that policy to do that.
Also, I find it interesting that we have a beverage policy, yet we advertise as a safe place in the summer and we offer free water. You know what I mean? So we do have a little bit of.
Yeah.
And, go ahead. My only comment would be the fact that, you know, we've done away with some policies that are redundant, but then in the patron rules of conduct, we'd have to change some of the wording. Because if you read the policy, it was rather lengthy and very detailed and things like that. So some of that can be transferred over to the rules of conduct, and that just spells out those things. Because again, you know, the policy on the beverage policy was a whole page. You know, so, but yet on here, it's like one line, you follow that policy, you know, that's all it was. So move some of that so that you can get the gist of what the policy was in the rules of conduct, that way you don't have to have the policy. So, just be clear up.
I guess the thing is, it's easier to have one place than multiple places, because if it says, well, in the rules of conduct, it says this, and in the policy, it says this. So-
See Appendix A of Addendum D to, you know, right, so.
We will, those areas of the patron rules of conduct that are short will be made robust enough to do it, but, yeah, and also positive.
And I think then it's how you promote it and where you share it. Where does the signage come in and the rules, and that you don't want to have, well, come to the library and here's 108 rules you can follow, right? Like, it's that this is the culture you're trying to drive here and the type of environment. And I think and again, we're seeing the same thing. Like, you know, it used to be acceptable use of technology in schools where don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. No, this is what you should be doing. This is what you're allowed to use. These are the things we expect you to use a device for, or what things to access. So it's very clear, this is acceptable, everything else is not. Because it's hard to make the no list, because that gets a lot longer than it is, this is what we
And then
want.
just turns the conversation negative right away.
Yep.
You know, instead of being told, this is what you can do, it just
This is what this building is for.
has a positive mindset.
So we can revise that rules of conduct for the next meeting for final approval. We'll be operating under the rules of conduct as the draft until then, so that we still have these, we don't have a gap of people going nuts in the library. You know,
For the next 30 days, yeah.
We'll have a lunch here tomorrow.
Moving on, the next regular meeting is July 20th. And assigned tasks, did you, there were a couple.
There was one that I remember, I don't know if we talked about it or not. The strategic planning committee will be getting together to review where we're at and set benchmarks for where we want to go. So that'll be bringing some more information to you, maybe some bigger deals.
I think the only other assigned task is that Steve will be presenting to the Common Council the description, the job description, and the organization, and he will be doing that at Mondays?
Monday will be the job description, so that we can post that, because they expect that the city council will approve that. And then the following city council meeting, which will be 2 weeks.
Is the reorg?
Will be reorg.
Okay. So, Brett, you won't have to give an update.
You can still give an update if you want.
I think that was it with tasks.
Would the interim director compensation research fall under assigned task? And then also the.
Because it'll be on the next,
And the
And
policy.
it's
And the
gonna be on the
updating.
next budget meeting, so you're right. those would
And
be
then also
assigned
the
tasks.
updating for final approval to patrons.
Patrons.
Correct.
Oh, you got it, Karen?
Yep, interim compensation.
Rules of conduct.
Yep.
Okay,
Close enough.
with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
7:50.